Yoda stealing my thunder, man.
Well, of course, rightfully so. What's up, fuckers? Ash, you can type out fuckers because I'm saying it. So
What?
Ash typed out, "What's up, fuckers?"
Yeah.
Gave me an excuse
What's
to
up?
say it again.
What's up?
Evening, folks. I'm gonna do it again. I hope you guys did the thing. I hope you got the rash checked out. Don't forget to check your mail. Make sure you turn off your coffee pot before you leave. Tidying up a few things. I feel the need to say. Anyways, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. So what's up? What's up,
Ooh.
everybody?
Started a good show, new show for me to watch. Started watching it.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck is it called? Bloodline?
Yep.
It's good, people. It's not paranormal related whatsoever, but it's good. I would suggest it. But I'm a Ben Mendelsohn fan, so that's partly why I started watching it. I love his voice. Absolutely love his voice. For those of you who are not familiar when I say Ben Mendelsohn, he has a very distinct, how do you describe it? Lisp? Like the way he talks, he's got a very strong lisp, but I actually like it. So
I'm only about 60% sure of which guy you're talking about. So.
Oh, he was in Ready Player One. He was in.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh my God, Jeremiah. Anyways, it's a very good show. Watch it if you need a new show to watch. I just watched Tiger King again for the 5th time.
Oh my God.
I can't get enough of that shit.
Thank the gods we found something different to watch.
Something away from Joe Exotic. Oh man. It's just so much just absurd natured things.
That's a whole different level of paranormal.
No, that's not paranormal. That's just fucking dumb, man. But I love it.
Well, never mind.
What were you gonna say? What was that?
No.
Huh? Speak, please.
The fucking dumb is kind of a compliment to it. I mean, that's an upgrade.
Well, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Oh man. So what's up, everyone out there in Facebook land or YouTube land or Twitch land or whatever you're watching?
Are they called Twitchers? Is that what you call somebody who does Twitch?
Actually, I don't think our YouTube channel it's not working with the live feeds. I don't know why.
It doesn't like us. YouTube doesn't like us.
Yeah,
Well. So, I had a good day. Tested negative again.
Yep.
For COVID.
Me too.
I got both nostril swab though today.
Did you?
Yeah, that was awful.
Didn't get enough goo the first time?
No, apparently not. Apparently not. God, I bet she's pulled out some awful swabs too. Oh God, I'm glad I don't do that job.
Yeah, I mean, not to be graphic, but every time not every time anymore, but when we first started doing that, every time I'd sit down in that chair, I'd say, I cannot make any guarantees as to what you're pulling out of my nose because allergies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Be with some butthead for 2020. Yes.
Hey, plug the KC Metafair real quick for Lena.
So what?
Plug the KC Metafair for Lena.
Oh, yeah. So this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Oh, let me see if I can pull it up here. Yes, I do believe it is this weekend.
I can send you the...
So...
I can send you the link real quick if you want.
This weekend, let me...
Yep. Virtual KC Metaphysical Fair. November 20th, 21st, 22nd. They had to go virtual. Bummer, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be virtual, correct?
No, it wasn't. When they were wanting us to go, it was just going to be... It was going to be a regular in-person fair. They had gotten...
Charles says he wakes up negative. Love it.
That's awesome.
Is that like you piss excellence too?
It's something like that, probably. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see here. But yes, I'm not exactly sure
What happened?
Huh?
Not exactly sure what happened.
No, I'm not exactly sure how the virtual fair is working. You know, they're having like online, you know, seminars and breakout sessions and that type of thing. And there we go. Let me switch over to this here.
I'm just really ready for the pandemic to be over.
Yeah,
I don't even give a shit about 2020 being over. I want the pandemic to be over.
I know, right?
Because
Right.
it's not going to be over by the end of the year.
So I'll put a link to this in the chat, but yeah. So you know, I think they have pretty much their, for the most part, their usual lineup of, you know, vendors and readers and that type of thing. But it's gonna be virtual rather than what's the word I'm looking for? In person. Yeah. And so you know, people they'll showcase people's, you know, wares and stuff like that, and you know, people that are giving lectures or classes or whatever will be doing that as well. Plus the readers will be there. You'll be able to schedule readings and that type of thing. So you know, it. Well, we'll see about that, Carl. But
Oh,
No.
my goodness.
Carl, remind me to send you a video that I found earlier today. So I got to shut Yoda up. He keeps trying to interrupt me here.
He's so needy. Attention
I know,
whore.
right?
Yoda's an attention whore.
Tonight he is.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. What? But yeah, the KC Meta. You know, it's usually a pretty good sized fair, and there's a lot of great people there and everything. And it's really just a terrible shame that they're having to drop back to virtual events for the time being. But you know, that Sylvia and Gigi that run the fair. You know, as always, I'm sure they will do everything in their power to make sure that, you know, it's a good event for anyone that wants to get involved. So yeah, just
And
you know,
all those readers are legit, man.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
every single one of them. If you're needing a reading, you know, Lena, of course, is legit, and every single reader that I've ever come in contact with of those fairs,
Mm-hmm.
I would go to for a reading, and trust. You know.
So you know, we're not going to be, you know, represented there.
Or rebels.
We just
With a cause, though.
Huh?
Rebels with a cause.
Right, you know, we weren't able to get the weekend off of work, you know, because of, you know, other stuff that we had, you know, already planned, and as well as, you know, work, you know, COVID restrictions and all that good stuff. So I won't be reading there, and Step won't be selling our crafts, but you know, we'll get that stuff going again. But you know, you guys, if you're looking for something to do this weekend and don't really want to get out, you should
Check it out.
you know, hop on Facebook and check this out. Just search for KC Metaphysical Fair November 2020 Virtual Edition.
Oh, so I have to
So-
tell you something. I have to tell you something exciting. So I was down in the basement pilfering around looking for a bag of one of the
Pilfering.
kids'
You were
books.
pilfering.
Yeah, I was. And I found the bag of books successfully and all the crap in the basement. I don't get it. We can get rid of a bunch of stuff and then it just accumulates again.
Well, I could tell you how that works.
I don't want to talk
but-
about that right now. Anyways, so I was all excited because I opened up one of the boxes down there, and all to my belief, I found all of my books from when I was growing up. I was pretty excited about it.
Cool.
And I had because guys, my grandma, every day that I was around her when I was a little growing up, she would, every time I'd stay the night at her house, she'd read a book to me called The Wuggly Ump by Edward Gorey.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm totally considering reading it to Sophie. The
I think you
Wuggly,
should.
the Wuggly Ump. It's actually kind of a terrible book because this Wuggly Ump, it's coming to take the children and then it eats the children. Spoiler alert at the end, but it's a really good book. And then the other one, which is my other favorite childhood book, was The Ghastly Crumb Tinies
Right.
by Edward Gorey also. But that's like a morbid. Right there was the moment that my morbid sense of humor kicked in. Was in middle school because
Well, we got to train Sophie up right, so
yes.
But
A is for Amy, who fell down the stairs. B is for Basil, assaulted by bears. C is for Clara, that faded away. D is for Desmond, thrown out of a sleigh. E is for Edmund, who choked on a peach. F is for Fanny, sucked dry by a leech. G is
God.
Yeah, it keeps going through the whole alphabet. It's a really good book, guys. If you have a grandchild
awesome.
or children, if you have a younger child, and they have a little bit of a morbid sense of humor, or they're just kind of one of those kids that likes odd things. That was me since forever. So, The Ghastly Crumb Tinies. There you go. There's your Christmas gift, right? To your kid. There you go. Yep. Anyways, it's a great book for kids. Oh, I think it is. So, I don't even know where I was going with that, other than it's a good book, and I was really, really stoked that I found it. I'm getting bored hearing myself talk. You talk for a while.
Well, I'm getting ready to introduce our guest for the night.
Okay. This is going to be a fun conversation.
It is. So our guest for tonight
There he
is Mr. Josh Hurd. Josh is an
Hey, Aaron.
author. He is a filmmaker and a
Enthusiast.
he has all kinds of cool stuff going on with anything paranormal.
He has a podcast as well.
Yep, the G Crew podcast. Where did that little thing go? If you guys remember our guest from 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, Johnny Hauser. Well,
Becky is watching. Becky's a badass. That's all I can say.
Josh Hurd does.
Yes, Becky, you are a badass.
Does the G Crew podcast with Johnny Hauser, Chad Lindbergh, and Nick Groff. So, and he also does the Ectoplasm Show with Jason Kupczynski. Kupczynski. Yes, Kupczyk. Where did that come from? Kupczynski.
I have no fucking idea.
Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. So
I
anyway.
thought it was Kupczyk.
It is Kupczyk.
It is. So
So anyway, yeah, I'm excited.
yeah, Becky said not today. Becky, you will forever be a badass. Just saying.
So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and
Call
get
him.
Mr.
I better plug in my ears, huh?
Yeah, probably ought to
Yep.
get Mr. Hurd on the phone here.
Do you think he heard that we were going to call him? Sorry, that was a bad joke.
Hello?
Hello, Josh.
Hi, Josh. I was purring like a cat, waiting for you to answer the phone.
Hey.
I'm over.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yes, I'm over the Jeopardy, little tune. So I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna purr like a cat. What can I say?
How's it going?
It's we're doing pretty good. We can't complain too loud. How about you?
Oh, about the same.
Yeah. Oh, very
Can't
cool.
complain, nobody would listen if I did, so whatever.
I know.
Josh.
I know the feeling.
Josh, I'm here for you. I would listen.
So, just why don't you start by just taking a second and telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I am paranormal, author, investigator, lecturer, filmmaker, and then co-owner of what we call Malvern Manor in Malvern, Iowa.
Ooh.
Very cool. Very cool. What got you? Where was your? Where does your interest in the paranormal spin from?
I guess I was always kind of that weird kid in school anyway. Like, I was always the one like reading the scary stories to tell in the dark books. While my friends were off like reading like Berenstain Bears or something stupid like that. Like I was like, so I was that guy. But yeah, but no, so I guess I've always kind of like had an interest in it, like in the weird and strange and supernatural or what have you. It wasn't until like I lost an uncle. I was about 12, I think, like 12 years old, 13 years old, and lost an uncle. He was quite young. He was only 31 at the time of his passing.
Damn.
But there were some odd things like surrounding his death that really got me asking the bigger questions in life. And I guess that's kind of when I started, diving into, parapsychological research and the works of like Ed and Lorraine Warren, Hans Holzer, all of that fun stuff. But I mean, I really dove in like head first. You know what I mean?
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Very cool. All right. What, of course, most everyone that's watching is very aware that there is, paranormal research is a huge umbrella. So what would be probably your favorite aspect of paranormal research? I think I probably know the answer, but, Yeah,
I mean, I've always had a fascination with, ghost activity, spirit activity, haunted houses, why people are experiencing this phenomenon. Now, of course, like my interest also, broadens to,
Please, God, say aliens.
Research.
Please, God, say aliens.
Yeah. No, so aliens and all that stuff. Like that is the one thing that terrifies me more than anything. The idea that something else is out there, something far more intelligent than us is maybe out there observing us. Because I also think that their intentions wouldn't be as pure. Like it wouldn't be like an episode of Alf or E.T. or anything like that.
Right.
I think it would be something a little bit more sinister in nature.
Oh God! Oh God! Everything you're saying, I agree with.
Yeah, I have to say, Josh, with that answer, I think you must be Stephanie's spirit animal.
Yeah.
Because she is exactly the same way.
Oh, it's bad.
Guys, it's so weird. Like I have seen odd things in the sky. Sure, I've observed this. I've documented some of it. I've filmed it. There was one time I was visiting my mother. She lives in Omaha, Nebraska, and I was standing in her driveway. It was probably like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm outside smoking, like no agenda whatsoever. And I see something in the sky, and it kind of like zipped up into the sky, and it just dead stopped, and then it started to spin. And it was really intriguing, but then what really freaked me out was the fact then that this thing just zipped out of existence. It shot upward and was gone. Like the whole experience maybe lasted not even 10 seconds, and it was over.
Right.
But the feeling that I had while I was observing this was not one of like wonder or anything like that, but it was more of like
terror.
When you're a little kid and you get your hand caught in the cookie jar, I shouldn't be doing this, right? Like it was that feeling. It was a very like weird carnal type feeling saying like, you should not be looking at this.
Right.
And then it was gone.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
that right there freaked me out.
I was not meant to see that. I don't want anything to know that I saw that because I don't know what's going to happen to me if they do.
Oh, don't worry. They know. They know. They already know. Hey, can I just get your okay to make a shirt that says Josh Hurt is my spirit animal? Can I just get your approval on that one? I will only make one for myself. I will only make one for myself.
Absolutely.
Because I think
fine.
I think my husband nailed it. Yep, totally. My spirit animal there because aliens scare the well, they scare me. Like, there's not even like a joke in there. Like,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
possibility, I don't know, maybe I was abducted. I'm not sure. Do you think you might have been abducted? Because I find it curious, the people who it actually freaks out. I can't help but wonder if possibly they've had an experience they don't have a actual memory of, but possibly there is a memory in there somewhere.
I really hope not. I hope, like, that terrifies me too. I'm like, it's just one of those weird things, right? Like, it's really cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy studying, space and everything that we are able to now observe and document and all this stuff. And it seems like we're making leaps and bounds, but damn it, like, one of these days, we are going to find something that we are not going to be able to,
or something's going to find us.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and this is what fascinates me. It's like we have all of this stuff, all of this, footage and documentation. Like, everybody laughed at Tom DeLonge 2 years ago when he came out with this footage, and he was like, "Look at this." And then you have government officials coming out this year saying, "Yeah, that's legit. We have no idea what that is."
Yeah, and whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to that fucking news headline? Right? I read that and I'm like,
Right,
what?
right.
Wait, what?
Why isn't this
Yep.
a
Why
bigger
is this
thing?
not a bigger thing, man? Like, this
But
should be.
it's also fascinating to me because now we also then have the incorporation of this new branch of government, or excuse me, this new branch of military that we're calling Space Force, right? Like, this is something, like, there's something going on, right? That we're not privy to that
That's our
information
impending-
quite yet.
Exactly.
But it's slowly but surely coming at us. And it's like disclosure is happening in little bits and pieces, little chunks here and there.
You're making my
it's
eyeballs
fascinating.
bug out right now, just so you know.
It's,
It's like,
you know what? I think, precisely, a little bit of a backstory here, because I can completely identify with the experience you just talked about, Josh, because you know Brandon Callahan, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So he and I were at a location down in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, the very first time we ever set foot on that location, and we had we had an experience. I mean, it was a lot like what you just described. I mean, a little bit different in the motion that this thing made, whatever the hell it was. But both of us, I've seen a lot of shit. He's seen a lot of shit, both from different perspectives. But we saw that, and we both just and for about the next probably 90 seconds, the only thing that was said, Brandon opened his mouth and said, "I have an Air Force background. There is no plane that flies like that, period."
I was just going to say, like, if you were going to be with anybody and encounter something like that, he would be your guy. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yes.
He would be able to
Talk
tell
about
you. He would be able to tell you if it was horse shit or not.
The right place at the right time. So Josh, if you were to meet an alien, first off, just shoot
God.
from the hip here. Number one, what do you think it would look like? And number two, what would you want to ask it?
Ooh. Okay. So,
Are you doing this? Like,
my idea of aliens or what have you isn't necessarily your standard typical, like, gray, right, that we all think of with the almond shaped eyes and
oh, I
the
don't want to think
elongated
about it.
heads and
I don't
all
want
of
to.
that
I don't
stuff,
want to
right?
think about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So, I don't necessarily think that it would be like that. I honestly think that they would be some odd version of us.
Right.
They would look like us. They would almost act like us, but there may be slight variations, slight little differences that are almost barely noticeable, but yet observing them, something would be just a little off.
I'm getting pictures.
That's what I think of.
I'm getting pictures of the Men in Black in my head right now.
Exactly.
5 minutes ago, you thought we were alone in the universe. Yeah.
No, not Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. I'm talking about like the actual
Yeah.
witness accounts of Men in Black. It's a lot like what Josh just described. They're very human looking, but there's just something just odd that you almost can't put your finger on.
Josh, did you by chance see the movie?
Exactly.
Did you by chance see the movie? It came out, I don't know, a couple, 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago, called Annihilation.
I have not.
Natalie-
Judging by the title, I don't know if I want to.
Natalie Portman's in it, and then the guy who played, oh shoot, what? Oh my God, he was in. Oh, for fuck's sake, The Force Awakens. He was the BB-8's owner. That guy.
Oh, sure.
Not Finn, not the black dude.
No,
What was his name? I can't even. I feel so stupid right now.
Poe Dameron, but I can't remember his actual name.
That actor is in it, and that movie was unsettling. Like, if you need a good unsettling alien movie, not that you'll ever watch it, because I saw Dark Skies once, never again. Same with The Fourth Kind, once, never again. That's what nightmares are made of. Okay.
I do this. I do this to myself though. Like I think I'm somewhat of a masochist, honestly. Like I will sit down and I will watch these. I will watch these films, like the movie The Fourth Kind.
Oh, I don't like
was
that.
one of the most terrifying things. It was like one of the most terrifying things I ever saw.
Yes.
Like just because there was that one scene where they're doing the hypno-regression therapy or whatever, and they asked, okay, well, if you really are like this alien or whatever, like what about God? And the answer was, I am God. And that right there freaked me out, because that also then makes me feel like we are just some science experiment in some 8th grade classroom in some distant galaxy that we don't even know exists.
Right.
We are on
we're sitting on
Orion's
some
belt.
shelf in a petri dish, right?
We remember, we are on Orion's belt. Yep.
Exactly. Like, it's just like that. I'm like, oh, my brain does some very odd things. Like,
Well,
when we
if-
talk about this.
If you
because
want to pull out the masochist,
that's what's interesting.
Mhm.
Like, we just don't know. Like, there's so much about, space and everything like that we do know, and we're learning more and more, like, every minute, and it's amazing to me. But there's still so much that we can't even fathom, like, the vastness, how absolutely gigantic and never-ending space truly is.
Right.
I mean,
I'll never forget the first time. I don't even know how old I was, but the first time that it occurred to me that what a light year away actually means. And so I'll never forget. I can't remember how old I was, but I'm like, wait a minute. So if we see a star go out, that happened like a long time ago. Like, this is not new information here.
Yes.
This is like history,
Exactly.
literally history in the making here. But yeah,
Exactly.
I can't imagine, another species having good intention of like coming here. Like, I
Right.
can't in my wildest dreams fathom what an intelligent species they're not going to want to like learn from us. I wouldn't think. I think, maybe resources, or I don't know. But or maybe they just
Right.
want to wear our skin, right? Like take over and wear our skin. Who do you think would be a really, really good? Who do you think might be an alien like right now? Like, is there anybody that you think might be walking around that you question? Like, I'm thinking they might be an alien. Who?
There
Keith Richards?
There are a few, right? Like, there are a few people that, I don't know, like a few people even that I've met that like defy logic, right? Like, you're around these people, and just being around them, you feel a certain way, and not in a negative way or anything like that. It's just like, God, you're not from here. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you're from this planet.
Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting. Like, David Blaine, right? David Blaine, and like that guy.
He's
That
a
guy is-
street magician.
Oh yeah, that guy is not
Yes.
normal. that
And
guy is.
he is not of this earth. Okay, like, there's no way he is of this earth. Like, oh, that was another thing, guys. I don't know if you saw this. This wasn't that long ago. There was government documentation that came out saying that Nikola Tesla was actually from the planet Venus, and was brought here then in the year of his quote unquote birth or whatever. There's actual government documentation suggesting this, that he wasn't actually, like, he was an alien from the planet Venus. And like it's really trippy, but it's on the books. Like it's absolutely.
I'm gonna
out
have
there
to
for
look
anybody
that
to read.
up.
Wow, I have not
I am
heard
going
that.
to send you some
Send it.
crazy stuff. I will
Send it.
send it to you.
Please.
And yeah, and
Do it.
you will.
Do it.
But again, here's one of the most brilliant minds that this world has ever known.
That would make sense. They're
and
not
it just
from here.
So happens, exactly, and it just so happens that they wouldn't be from here, like naturally.
Right. And then
Yeah.
that also, I mean, really and truly, that also puts a whole new spin on the whole Edison's medicine thing, and that the way
Yes.
Edison got, and so many others even got so much credit for stuff that Tesla did, because I mean,
Yes.
I mean, if that were true, I would want to draw attention away from his origin.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
wow.
That's wild. Yeah, I
It's
don't.
kind of interesting because they said that after Tesla passed away, everything was ransacked, and like every bit of information, documentation that he had lying around was taken by the government. The government took it all, and then started to incorporate some of it. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
weird.
That's wild.
It's very, very strange.
See, and you talk about
So, I mean, something is going on. That's for sure. Something's going on.
Yeah. There's no question about that. No question.
do you think, like, in today's society, more people do believe in aliens, or do you think that more people don't?
I think that people want to, right? They want to believe.
That's on my
It's
leg, man.
really strange, guys.
That is tattooed on my leg. That X-Files poster. I want to believe that is tattooed on my fucking leg. A big square of
Yeah.
color and beautiful words. Okay. Yes, I want to believe.
It's so weird, right? So you think of like some of the biggest summer blockbusters, right? Like dating all the way back to like even the 80s, 90s, right? Like think of Independence Day and what a phenomenon that movie was.
The Third Kind
Um,
movie.
Exactly.
The
It's like you look
Elements
at
of the Third Kind.
you.
Yeah. Is that
Oh
what
yeah,
it's
Close
called?
Encounters.
Close
Yeah.
Encounters, not Elements. Yeah,
yeah.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You've got E.T. You've got
Right.
remember the freaking
Exactly.
movie, The Fire in the Sky.
Yeah. Which
Fire in the Sky. Then
That-
you've got movies like Signs from like M. Night Shyamalan. You know, like
Ooh.
these movies. Like, like you have to sit back and ask yourself: are we slowly but surely being conditioned in some way to be more accepting of something like this happening? I don't know. Like, I don't know, but it really makes you wonder.
it does. It really
we-
does.
And don't
You know.
forget the best of all, Mars Attacks.
Oh God.
I love it. I love it.
Slim Whitman saved the world.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I actually have that album. I have that record for that reason. In case
Do you really? That's great.
I do. In case aliens ever hit, I'm totally playing it. Hopefully it works. Just saying. I love my Mars Attacks toys. I still have a bunch.
The only thing that I ever knew of like Slim Whitman, because again, like guys, I was kind of a weird kid. Okay, so I ended up having this. Like I was obsessed, and I don't know why. Don't even ask why. But I was obsessed with Andy Kaufman.
Oh,
And Andy Kaufman, from like.
I'm
from,
thinking
like,
he was an
Taxi and
alien
Saturday
too.
Night Live, and exactly,
Yeah.
it's like you want to talk about another person who's like out of this world. Andy Kaufman was definitely that guy.
Mhm.
But regardless, like he did this, I don't know what it was. It was like a comedy special or something, and like Wolfman Jack was like a guest on it and everything. But Slim Whitman was the musical guest as well, and I had this videotape, and I would watch it all the time. It was but that was the only introduction and the only exposure I ever had to Slim Whitman. So was
I love
Andy
it.
Kaufman.
That's awesome. You know, maybe that's when Jim Carrey turned. Maybe Jim Carrey turned. I don't know. Maybe playing Andy
Oh.
really screwed with him. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, that
Yeah,
whole
I'm
that,
telling you,
that
like-
yeah, that whole story is. I mean, it's caught between worlds of
Yeah.
between like completely tear jerking to just the emotional roller coaster of that whole story is yeah.
Right. It's like if I was ever, I don't know, like before I even started making films, I wanted to make that film.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like as weird as that sound is, like surrounding Andy Kaufman's death and the weird conspiracy surrounding that, where like people are like, no, he's really not dead. Like I literally just met him. He was bussing tables at a truck stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
In Oklahoma. It's like, what? it's like, no, he sells used tires over here in Texas. What? It's like, what? And like, it's just so bizarre. Like all of these people that have had these run-ins with who they swear is Andy Kaufman.
Right.
You know? It's like, you couldn't put it past the guy though, because
That's like
he
the
was
ultimate-
that kind of a trickster.
That's like the ultimate joke. You know, like making somebody like
Yeah.
seriously question themselves. Be like, they thought I was
And that's just it.
dead.
Like-
Surprise.
Right. Like the National Enquirer they stopped writing stories about Andy Kaufman because he had burned them one too many times. Like even the National Enquirer
Oh,
wouldn't
God.
report on Andy Kaufman because he was too good
Right.
at fooling people, you know? So yeah,
Man.
it was good stuff.
So okay, so switching topics a little bit. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
I never used to. No, I do believe in Bigfoot, or something of that nature. Yeah, like I was, my buddy David Glidden, he asked me to be a part of a film project called Into the Light, researching like the spook light phenomenon, and then we ended up doing a sequel to that, and it put us in Mena, Arkansas. And we were out there looking for this disembodied ball of light, and ended up like running into what I could only describe as like Sasquatch activity.
Wow.
Big stones and things like that being thrown at Dave and I. And it was very apparent, like after a while, it's very apparent that they're missing you on purpose.
Right.
Like they could just absolutely knock your lights out with one of these, but they weren't. They were landing inches away from us. But like I said, it was almost like it was on purpose, almost like a warning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's close enough, pal. Like no further. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
It's like you're out there and there's as far as you know no one around except you've got these bigger than I could comfortably handle stones landing
Yeah.
inches or feet away from you, which once or
Yep.
twice I get, everyone misses every once in a while, but when they consistently do that 10 12 15
Yeah.
times in a row, that's that's being done on purpose, and I
And that's just it. It's like Dave and I were having a conversation face to face, looking at each other, talking, and the stone goes right in between us, right between our faces, And it's like it's really whipping. You know what I mean? Like you can hear that the wind with it as it's passing, and it scared the crap out of me. But it's like it smelled like wet dog and garbage.
Mhm.
Like it was a foul, nasty
Ugh.
smell. It was kind of nasty, yeah, for sure.
So Bigfoot's never
but
gonna
that
sell
rock
cologne.
stuff, man,
But Bigfoot's never gonna sell cologne brand then.
yeah, I'm telling you,
Definitely
it's so
not.
crazy though, so crazy.
that's wild. So you have done several film projects, but the one when I was looking through your IMDb, kind of getting ready for tonight, the one that really caught my attention, really probably shouldn't have surprised me at all, but the Spirits of Melbourne.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So
That was a cool project that I was a part of. Yeah.
and that's I mean, if you can, and if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about kind of how that came about and the experiences and that type of thing. And
Hold on, before you go into detail about that, for anybody watching that might not have any clue of what the Melbourne situation is, can you give a little bit of background?
Sure. So Malvern Manor is just in Malvern, Iowa. It is a 10,000 square foot structure that was originally built for the purposes of a hotel. It was pretty much the place to be in the mid to late 1800s. It ran as a hotel all the way up until the 1950s, so it had a pretty good run there as a hotel.
wow,
Afterwards, it becomes, like in the 50s specifically, it becomes what we would consider to be more of like a nursing home type of setting. And then in the 70s, the nursing home was shut down. It became a group home for mentally handicapped people, and ran as such all the way up until February 15th of 2005. So it really wasn't that long ago. And
Wow.
this building was still kind of in full swing,
Mhm.
As of right now, the research and everything that we've done, we can see that there have been 187 deaths on property
wow,
that we can see, which is fairly significant for a town of only roughly 1,000, 1,200 people tops,
right.
So yeah, it is an interesting building, that is for sure. Now, like, Spirits of Malvern, that came about. That was actually my buddy Randall Reed came to Malvern a few times, and then decided he wanted to shoot a documentary film about the place, which is so cool. Like, I'm all about that, especially when they're buddies. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
come on up and let's see what we can figure out here. It was really cool working with those guys. Yeah, like I remember one time Randall had called me and he said, "I want to do Malvern solo." And I was like, okay. You want the whole building to yourself, like all night? Okay, cool, I get it. And he showed up, he did his thing, and I showed up the next morning just to kind of check on my buddy, like, okay,
Right.
how'd you do?
Are you okay?
Yeah, and Randall was nowhere to be found. And I went down this area, what we call the Shadow Man hallway, and I see all of his equipment is still there. It's still set up and everything, like he was running an experiment. And I was like, oh crap, like I need to get myself out of here in case I'm screwing up data or something like that, right?
Right.
I had texted him and I was like, hey man, did you just like grab a hotel for the night? Like, what's up? And he's like, oh no, I'm almost home. And he lives in Chicago. Okay.
Holy
So,
crap.
like, I was like, what do you mean you're almost home? Like, you must have left at like 1 o'clock in the morning. He goes, yeah, it was about midnight, 12:30. I was out of there. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't do it. I'm like, yeah, but you left all your equipment here. He goes, no, that's your equipment now. Like, oh my gosh, man. I'm like, how about this? I'll put it in a bag for you. The next time you come visit us, I'll just give it back to you. You know what I mean? Like, but it was crazy. Like, something startled him, that's for sure. But,
Wow.
it was good stuff. Yeah.
Holy crap. That's intense.
Is
So
he, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Is he the type of guy that, like, He would actually admit like, oh man, this isn't cool. I don't want to do this anymore. Or is he like, oh man, no, I'm good. I think I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you what though, like he's been over to our place. Gosh, I mean, I don't even know, maybe a dozen times. So it's like he's made that trip from Chicago, at least a dozen times.
Wow.
Just to come and investigate and document and everything that he possibly can. So yeah, he's definitely put a lot of work into it. That's for sure.
Hardcore. That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
Tell us about what was it? The Shadow Man hallway?
Yeah. So the Shadow Man hallway is interesting. It's my least favorite section of the whole place. It's also the newest section of the whole place. It was put on back in 1956 to kind of accommodate that nursing home setting.
Yeah.
So when you're back there, you notice like wider door frames. A lot of the rooms have like a laminate type flooring as well. So it definitely suggests a more medical atmosphere, right?
Right.
Now, all the way down the hall is room number 2. And typically then what happens is a very tall black humanoid figure will come out of room 2. He will turn and then run at people that are trying to observe this phenomenon. Now what's interesting is it's traveling the distance of roughly 40 feet in less than a second. It is moving that fast.
Wow.
So your reaction, your response is very carnal. It's a very fight or flight type of a feeling, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the majority of people, that's usually the phenomenon that will send the majority of people out the front door.
Well, now we know what happened to your buddy.
Right. What's interesting about it, though, like me being so analytical with all this stuff, sometimes to a fault, I feel, but I've noticed nobody has gotten hit or scratched or punched or any of that negative type response. None of that is happening. Quite literally, it seems, the second you flinch or turn away or what have you, the phenomenon's passed. It's done and over with. So to me, it may be suggesting then some form of residual type energy, right? But it was interesting. Like the day after Paranormal Lockdown aired, one of the nursing staff that used to work there got a hold of me, and she said the gentleman that occupied room 2 was 6'7". He was nonverbal, mentally deranged. He had killed a few people in the past, but his little claim to fame was whenever they were doing like, call it whatever, bed checks, rounds, what have you, he would come out of his room and he would chase the nursing staff. Now that fascinated me just because we're obviously seeing similar behaviors here, right?
Right.
Like, the problem is that obviously then usually with a residual type of a haunt, there's an antecedent that would kick it into motion, right? A time of day, a weather pattern, a moon phase, everything.
Right.
Like we're trying everything that we can to figure out what the cause would be of this, and we have no idea. We have no clue why this is happening, but we've documented this as often as 4 times a day. So this is significant. It's certainly happening. But man, like we cannot put our finger on it. We just don't know why. So again, I hate it back there. Like I don't even vacuum back there. Okay. It sucks. Like it absolutely sucks.
No, it doesn't. The vacuum does.
It's just a different feeling. Right. It's just a different feeling, like going back there.
Damn.
Right.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'm a wimp, man. I'm a wimp. And I admit that.
It'll be fine.
I own that. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Like, I don't know about that.
Jeremiah, you go and you just tell me all about it afterwards.
All right.
Hey,
I'm
now
down
there's
for
a
that.
challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
Supposedly this guy over here, Josh Lake, nothing scares him, but maybe that place might
I
give
mean,
him a run
I'm
for
not.
his money.
Nothing's impossible. I mean, I'm down for the challenge.
Have fun, honey.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
See, and
man.
that's what sucks is like I wanted to kind of like get to the bottom of it, right? Like I wanted to see what happens to us physically if we don't react. If we
Right.
just stand there and allow this to happen and we do not react. We don't flinch, we don't duck and cover, we certainly don't run, we just stand there. What would happen?
Right.
And I tried it. I stood back there. It was the middle of the night, had the whole place to myself. I stood back there for 4 solid hours begging for this to happen. And it finally did. Now, I didn't run this time, but I certainly flinched.
Sure.
Which really sucks because now I understand that I have to do the experiment again. You know what I mean? Whenever I get the guts enough to do it, it really sucks. And that was a long time. That was like 2 years ago, and I still haven't done it again. So
Wow.
What
I'll
if
have to
you-
get on that soon.
What if you set up equipment or whatever, and like you just stood in there for so long, but you put a blindfold on so you wouldn't actually see it, but
Oh, yeah.
you could you wouldn't react. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know that I could even
Exactly.
do that.
It's just a thought.
I tell you, like, I have done that with a couple different friends before. I have literally, quite literally, I have tied friends to chairs, blindfolded them, and put them in that hallway. I have duct taped friends to
You really
chairs
are a masochist,
and
aren't you, Josh?
blindfolded them.
Yes.
I kind of am.
Yes.
It's a smidge, just a smidge.
Yes. And how is your knot tying skills? I'm just totally kidding. Wrong
Hey,
show.
actually, pretty spot on, to tell you the truth. Pretty spot on. It's crazy. I had my buddy Johnny Hauser from the Velisca House. He came over, and I sat him back there, and I tied him to the chair,
No.
but I also put him in like a hospital gown as well, and put him in a wheelchair, and then put him down there. And I was like, look, I need you to kind of like role play a little bit. I'm like, you need to be like, hey, this place sucks. Like, let's get out of here. Let's break out of this place. Who's coming with me? We'll hop on the train. Like, we'll hop on the train and we'll go, And I'm like, you need to do that. And I'm going to be like the orderly guy. I'm going to come back there and be like, Hauser, shut up, all this stuff. And I'm going to try to rough you up a little bit. And then, like, you just keep at it. Like, oh, that guy is such a butthead. Like, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. Who's with me, And I don't know. Like, it seems to work. Even walking up and down those halls and knocking on the doors with a little cup full of like little candy that would simulate
Medicine.
the sound of medicine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
like walking in, like knocking on the doors and saying, "Hey, it's bed check," or "It's med time," or setting up a group of chairs in a circle and saying, "Hey guys, it's time for group." That seems to work too.
What about
like, it's
what about
so
like
weird.
like clinking keys together? Is that another one that you've tried?
Oh yeah.
Does that
So
one work?
I always have my keys on like a little key ring that's on my belt loop anyway. And so I am constantly clanking like as I'm walking up and down the halls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All the time.
Wow.
So yeah, it's interesting stuff. But again, like the building seems to be smarter than all of us. It always seems to be about 5 steps in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's always 5 steps ahead of us, no matter what we want to do, which is frustrating. There's a lot of cat and mouse type of things that go on there.
Right.
So yeah,
So-
it's a weird place.
In my experience, most of the best locations are like that.
So I got a profound question for you, Mr. Hurd. So would you say, being that building is that old, would you say that the building itself has this energy, or would you say that all the spirits that inhabit the place have the energy?
I would say it's a combination of both.
All
but
the above.
the building itself does seem have some form of intelligence, just because, again, like it knows what you're up to, right? It's almost like that building is your protagonist and your antagonist all in the same all in the same fell swoop here.
Right.
So it is an interesting place, but it is sometimes mind-numbingly frustrating.
Yeah. We had a
Jeremiah, that sounds like your wife.
I wasn't going to say that, but you know.
Oh man, I love it.
But we had a place a lot like that. We called it the Project House. It was actually it was a house that I built house that I bought in Anthony, Kansas, that was built in 1929, and it had the ground it set on was. The lot was 1/4 of of an estate that used to sit on that. The estate used to take up an entire 2 blocks, and then
Wow.
but that was like 50 years before this house was built, and then the estate was sold, and the ground was split up, and they built several different houses, but this house was, and there's people in the chat that can vouch for this, but this house was always active, but never when you wanted it to be. Does that make sense? It was never
Makes total sense.
it was just, but there was always something going on. It just was never where you were or where the camera was, you know.
Yep.
It was
exactly.
insane. So
Yeah, I know that. I definitely know that frustration. That's for sure.
So, Josh, I like to ask all of our guests this. Well, not all of them, but when I think of it, so more specifically the paranormal guests. So, do you have a girlfriend? Are you married? Kids?
I am. Yeah, I am married with 3 children.
Okay. So, what about your wife? Does she believe in the paranormal, or is she kind of like, honey, go have fun, or where does she stand in all of it?
Yeah. So she does believe in the paranormal, sure. She's definitely more of the skeptical mindset, which helps, obviously, keep my thought process grounded too. If she could just tell me I'm caca duty crap crazy. But, she more or less kind of just admires from afar, right? Like she will be like, yeah, you go and do your thing,
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
What about your children?
Yeah, so our oldest is 11. Our youngest is just turned 2, actually.
Hey, we've got 2 of those as well.
So they are very spaced out, that's for sure. So, and our middle child, she is 6. But it's weird because certainly our oldest and our middle child, they definitely have an interest in it. My oldest daughter, I could definitely see wanting to do something like this. Our middle daughter, not so much. But our oldest, I could definitely see her wanting to go out and actively pursue this,
Cool.
Would you at what age would you take her with you?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously they come to work with me and all that fun stuff, especially in the summer. And so they like to go and explore, and that's fine. That's cool, whatever. I don't know if I don't know. If she asked me, I would probably take her with, just for a couple hours. Okay, let's dip our toe here, you know what I mean?
Right.
And let's see if you can handle this. And then let's see if you can handle this. Because again, Daddy can get a little crazy every once in a while and do some weird shit. Like Daddy likes to experiment with whatever. I like to try to think outside the box, right? And I like to try to, I don't know, just push the envelope a little bit, right? I don't know. Like so yeah, we'll see what she can do.
So speaking of pushing the envelope, so on every investigation you've ever gone on, what is the most asinine thing that you've done that you looked back and were like, damn, I shouldn't have done that?
God.
Well, is there a few?
There was, I mean, we've done numerous types of experiments, right, with sensory deprivation and things of that nature. And there are certain times where you're in the middle of that, you know, experiment or whatever, and you're like, God, what am I doing? You know, like, why? Like, why did I decide to tie myself to a chair, blindfold myself? I put earplugs in. Like, I am completely helpless right now. You know, I am 100% screwed, and I know I need the aid of somebody else to get out of the situation. So there's a lot of trust that goes into that too. But so yeah, I mean, it's situations like that I'm always. There's always that moment, right? You're just like, what am I doing? And then you kind of focus on the task at hand, and you hopefully, you know, get something noteworthy, right? Something to document and to write home about. So yeah, but I go through those moments. I have probably at least 5 of those moments a day. Like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that for sure. So yeah.
I love it.
No comment. Actually, I can relate to that too, though. You know. So.
Oh, that's great.
So, what's your number one like bucket list location to investigate, so to speak?
I think, like, number one for me would probably be Waverly Hills, which is,
oh yeah,
you know, Waverly Hills and Bobby Mackey's. Those are 2 locations that I have to get in, just because, like, I enjoy history anyway, right? But I mean, to be able to stand there and to feel the walls and to smell the location, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I love. To be absolutely 100% immersed into a location. Like, that's what I loved. And so I think Waverly Hills is right at the top of that list. Bobby Mackey's is a very close second. So yeah, for sure.
Stephanie's sitting here looking at me like I have no idea what those places are. So Waverly Hills is an old.
I'm just like, cool. Please tell me more.
Yeah, Waverly Hills. It's in Tennessee. Am I right about that?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's a huge, massive building, and it was a. I know at one time it was a like a TB hospital.
Oh shit!
And correct.
It didn't it spend some time as a psychiatric hospital too, or am I wrong about that?
I'm not quite sure on that, honestly.
So,
but yeah, like, I know, like, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of people lost their lives there, especially with, you know, tuberculosis, like you were saying.
Right.
I mean, even taking them down, like, they would try to keep morale up, right, for the other patients and not let them know how many people were dying every single day. And so they had to be quiet about it.
Right.
They had to take them out of that body chute in the back, you know?
Whoa, did you just say the word body chute?
Yeah, it's like this long tunnel.
Correct. It is a very long tunnel that they would call the body chute. Now, what's interesting about the body chute is it was also the entrance of the building for the employees. So as the employees were walking in, they were carrying out freshly deceased bodies, which could not be good for your morale going into your job.
Dude,
you know
could you imagine
saying?
how
daily?
Could you imagine how desensitized you'd have to be To just shoot the body down the chute, kind of like a laundry chute, but with bodies, right?
Well, I mean, they would take them. It was
Well, kind of. They had to wheel them out, but it was at a slant, obviously, a downward slant coming out of the building. So you would wheel them out on a gurney of some sort. But yeah.
Damn.
So, and then Bobby Mackey's is like an
That's
old.
in Wilder, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And it's an old, it's a honky tonk bar. Bobby Mackey himself is owner, proprietor. He was a country music star back in the day. He still writes music to this day. Very talented musician. But yeah, all sorts of crazy stuff happen at that joint.
Right.
That's for sure.
Both of those places are just insanely haunted. Multiple documentaries and films and shows made about both of them.
Yes. That's just it. It's almost like a rite of passage,
Right,
It seems
right.
like kind of for investigators, I know, and I still have yet to go to either of them, so I feel like I'm slacking a bit.
I know, me too. So,
There's still time.
well,
There's still time. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Unless the aliens invade sometime,
It's
what I
coming.
mean? Then we-
It's our impending doom. Jesus. Just get your Slim Whitman ready,
I love it.
Josh. Just get you some Slim Whitman. Yep. That's
oh my
So
gosh.
great.
the antidote. Who the fuck came up with that? Tim Burton, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one thing I like to get people's take on is what is your thought on regular intelligent hauntings versus negative or malicious versus demonic? Like the prevalence and how the differences and that type of thing. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I always suggest that, the term like demonic haunting or demon or anything is a term that seems to be widely overused. And I think it's certainly more of a rare occasion than we would be led to believe by TV or film.
Right.
So I do believe that it exists, obviously. But I certainly don't think it exists to the degree that we're told. But yeah, so, I mean, I like to call like a lot of different things like nuisance haunts, right? Where they're like, oh, my keys keep getting misplaced, or every night at this specific time we hear this, or that, or whatever. We always see this guy walking up and down the halls, and every once in a while he'll push a dish off the counter or whatever, and just like he's pissed off or something, and he'll break a dish.
Right.
And like that to me isn't necessarily something negative. I would suggest that right there is like, again, just a nuisance haunt, right? Somebody that's wanting some form of attention. Now it's our job to sit down and listen, right? Like, this is your opportunity. Tell us what you need to tell us.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so yeah,
So,
I don't know. I could go so many different directions.
Hey, Josh, one of the viewers said, what if you found out the Shadow Man was really an alien?
Oh God. Help me. Yeah.
She
That.
said, I don't.
That.
She said, I don't think he would be willing to do that experiment anymore. I wouldn't.
I tell you, yeah, Malvern Manor. I'd probably set the building on fire or something. I'd be like running out the door and lighting a match on my way out or something.
See,
I don't know.
and then as a sick joke, man, that alien / Shadow Man would be like right there blowing it out every time.
Man.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
swear.
did you mention you're an author? Did you mention that you're an author?
yes,
Did
I've
I
done.
dream that? No, you
6
did.
books.
Ooh, tell us about your books.
So the first one that I did, like, I guess I am an author, but I don't ever really claim it, right? Like, I don't know.
You gotta own
like,
that
I'm not
shit,
much of
Josh.
a writer. How about
Be
that?
proud of that, because I cannot do that. Nope, I am not a writer. I'm a talker, but not a writer.
No, I get it. So the first book that I did was more or less just therapy, right? Like, it was more or less just kind of a therapy session for myself.
Okay.
Because we had experienced something in college. We called ourselves, paranormal investigators, but we were anything but that, really. Like, we watched 4 episodes of Ghost Hunters and thought we knew everything there was to know. It was that, and so
Jeremiah's going, yep, I know what
biting
you're
off-
talking about.
but we ended up biting off way more than we could chew at this old abandoned chapel, of all places. Something very dark, something very negative was in that chapel. Ultimately took the work of a priest to rectify the whole situation, but that right there was kind of my aha moment, right? Where I knew then this wasn't just all fun and games. There was things that are out there that do not wish us well, right? And that was quite eye-opening for me. And so again, like, this is something that we lived with for the better part of 10 years before I sat down and decided to kind of put pen to paper and just word vomit for like 25,000 words or so, and just then put out this book.
Right.
Well, that book then became my first documentary film as well. So I took the original team and we went back to that location just to finally say our piece with it and try to elicit some form of a response. So the book and the film kind of complement one another. There's a lot of information in both that you won't get from the other, right?
Okay.
And so that's kind of where I got the itch to become a filmmaker, really, was that whole ordeal, really.
That's interesting. That's, I think everyone that does this for any length of time, of course, we don't have time, and I won't bore you with my background right at the moment, but I basically got my introduction into all things, weird and paranormal at the age of about 4 years old, and it's been just an obsession with me ever since, really, almost a morbid obsession sometimes. But
Well, I mean, we do work in hospice.
well, I mean, but at the same time, even with that, that was 43 years ago. But even at that, I still had that aha moment, like you were talking about. Just for me, it probably came up about 12 years ago during an experience that just it really. It was the first time that I ever actually got physically assaulted by a spirit, and
Yes.
that was like, oh shit. I believed it happened. I knew it happened. It never crossed my mind that it didn't happen, but it had never happened to me. And so that moment that it did happen to me was like, oh, maybe I need to, re-examine a few things here and take this a little more seriously or something, because that was
Sure.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And I think, and that's just it, is like those experiences right there, they really, they're life-changing, really. You're never going to forget that, and it's something that you're going to take with you from that point on to different investigations and locations and all of that stuff. It's something that is going to influence the way that you investigate from that point forward.
Right, exactly. One of the viewers just had a question in the chat. Says, because of that experience, Josh, do you believe that you would be more apt now to recognize, I think she meant nefarious haunting?
Oh, maybe potentially, yeah. Just because, and I'll only say, like, this sounds so stupid, but the feeling, right? The feeling that I had while we were there,
Mm-hmm.
the stomach turning, gut wrenching feeling while you're observing the things that we observed,
Mm-hmm.
while you're watching people that you know and people that you love get hurt, badly hurt. That right there, like that feeling, is something that we felt right when we were getting out of the car,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't identify that feeling. We didn't identify that feeling as, oh, this is something nasty and dark or whatever.
Turn back now.
Now. Exactly. Now, if I feel something like that, and like, pump the brakes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Let's take a
reassess,
closer look
Take a
here.
breath. Exactly. So maybe, like, that's a really good question. So yeah, maybe. I guess without even necessarily knowing that I guess so.
So how do you feel about getting psychics involved in investigations?
I'm all about it, honestly. Now me, like I always kind of joke, right? I always say that I'm kind of about as psychic as a rock in the driveway, right? I'm not at all. That's why I kind of rely on the tech and the gadgets and gizmos and geekometers that we use. But I do believe that, people have that gift. So that phenomenon in itself exists. I do believe it. I've seen it happen. I have met a handful of people that have been able to just knock my socks off with some of the things that they have said.
Yep.
That they've told me things that my mom doesn't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes,
Yep.
we know.
I know
We-
exactly what you mean.
And so I am all about it. Now, of course, I always have kind of a vetting process, right? Where I'm not just going to be like, oh, you claim to be a psychic. Come on and investigate with us
Right.
or anything like that. It's like, no, I want to watch you work, and I want to observe you working.
Right. Yeah.
Before I say, oh yeah, come on over here and do this or whatever. But yeah, like I absolutely believe that they could be incredible help.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's that's kind of the approach that I take too. It's of course with our background we do a lot more work actually in the metaphysical realm, but
Yeah.
it's not that I'm not just about what's the word I'm looking for? I still have to vet someone before I can, really put any weight in anything they say, So that means,
Sure.
Like you said, do it. They have to. Well, first off, they have to be willing to put the work in to show,
Yeah.
because they're the ones that, and this. People always kind of look at me cross-eyed when I say this like this, but I don't have anything to prove to them. They're the ones that have something to prove if they want to be involved in any of this stuff.
Yes.
Sure.
And
Sure.
it's I know that sounds kind of shitty, but at the same time, it's like,
Because the problem is that anybody can say it.
Exactly.
Anybody could say that sentence. I'm a psychic. I'm a medium. I'm whatever, right? Anybody can say that. So it makes it tough to understand, like, who's telling you the truth, right? And then
Right.
who's just maybe trying to, I don't know what, like get a free overnight or something. Like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult sometimes.
Okay. So, we're it's already 8:21. So
Holy crap.
yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Damn,
That's
you're an
nuts.
easy. You're an easy conversation. I have to say, I have to.
Yeah,
I have to
guys,
be
this
blunt.
has flown by.
I have to be blunt about something, Josh. So I was like, so when we had your compadre on a couple weeks ago, I actually
Johnny Hauser.
Yeah, I was actually really intimidated by that guy. That's why I barely spoke during the interview. And it was weird though because like when I knew you were coming on, you know, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a fucking awesome conversation because we're gonna talk about aliens and it's gonna be great. And it's been
Yeah.
great. Aliens is the icebreaker. Aliens is the
Yeah, no
icebreaker.
doubt.
Yes.
It's, oh my
Although
goodness.
I
yeah.
will say I
You wanna-
really did enjoy this conversation a lot. This has been awesome.
I did
Yes.
too, guys. I appreciate you having me on. It's
Absolutely.
great.
So Jeremiah, in 3 years, you're going to go to that Melbourne Manor.
In 3 years, huh?
Yes, in 3 years. 3 years. Yeah, in 3 years, Josh, we're gonna set it up in 3 years. If we haven't met our demise by aliens, we're gonna set it up and we're gonna
If
get
the
Jeremiah
aliens
out
haven't
there.
come yet,
And
Yes.
and
I'm all about it.
You know
Yeah,
why
and
3? You know why
also-
3 years, right?
Also, provided we're not facing COVID-23.
Oh Jesus, I don't talk about that. But
Oh,
hey, you know
God.
what? You could isolate in
Yeah,
there.
tell me about it.
You could isolate in there.
Like
so
that's what sucks.
you know.
Is like I'm ready to work again. Like I'm ready to get back out in the field and work again. Like I've been making documentaries, sure, but it's like I've been doing what I call the sit on your ass documentaries.
Right.
Where I can film them all in one studio and I can use B-roll shots here and there and all of this stuff. It's like, but oh God, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah. I totally
But
get
yeah,
it.
Josh.
Totally
so
get it.
I'm gonna reach out to you in about 3 years, and we're gonna set it up for Jeremiah to go lonesome Jeremiah
Because
in the.
I have to admit, Josh, but Malvern Manor is kind of
Is that on your list?
That's on my bucket list. So
That's
yeah.
one of them.
Oh, nice.
So
man. That's great.
let's make this happen.
That's great.
That's gonna be his.
Yeah, I'd
That's
love
gonna
to
be
have you
his
guys out.
birthday present in 3 years.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
do you have anything that you want to plug right quick before we go?
Oh, your
I tell
podcast,
you, I
man.
do
You gotta
have.
you gotta plug your podcast.
So, I tell you, so we do. There's a new podcast that we're doing. It's called the G Crew. It's Johnny Hauser, who we were just chatting about, and our buddy Nick Groff from Paranormal Lockdown and all those
Mhm.
fun shows, Ghost Adventures and all that, and then Chad Lindbergh from like Supernatural, Fast and Furious, and all that fun stuff.
Uh-huh.
Dude, you forgot the key
so-
thing. You forgot. I have to interrupt you. I have to interrupt
Mitch?
you, man. I have to interrupt you right now.
And
You forgot the
you
number
gonna talk about
one.
Mitch?
No. Wait, I don't know. But I'm just saying, you forgot to mention the absolute most important thing that that gentleman ever was in. Ever.
October Sky.
No.
Oh, which one?
He was in
Buffy?
Oh, I don't know about that. I've never seen that. But he was in an X-Files
Yeah.
episode.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Fuck yeah, he was.
See, I just like Chad's everywhere. He's been in everything. Like at this point, like we're just sitting around watching TV and we're like, oh look, there's Chad again. He's on everything. He's like on Law and Order. Like he was on like
What?
SVU or something like that. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, is that Chad? I'm like,
So
he
funny.
was on like Sons of Anarchy and stuff. I'm
So-
like, what? Like,
Oh,
what?
I forgot about that. He
So,
was,
Josh,
yeah.
funny story. Okay, so when we were at the Paracon last year, his booth was
Yeah.
like kind of catty corner from ours, and I didn't. I mean, I hate to say that, but I've never watched Supernatural. Okay, and I never watched Fast and Furious, so I didn't. There was nothing that really,
Oh, yeah.
caught my attention. I just thought, oh, that's cool. He's been in some stuff or whatever. Well then, I was standing there and I'm like, look at him, like, man, I've seen him in something. And then it hit me, and my armpits got sweaty. I was just like, oh my god, he was in the
Instant fangirl.
I did. I
That's so
totally,
funny.
totally did, and it was funny because it
So
wasn't
great.
even like there was nothing anywhere at his little booth about being in an X-Files episode. First thing I went up to him, I got an opportunity to go up to him just for a minute, and I was like, "What was David Duchovny like?" But like that's the only thing I wanted to know. I was like, "What was he like?"
It's so great. So like, G Crew itself is on Patreon, right? And but now so Patreon, like you can subscribe to that for $1 a month, and have access to like G Crew. But now we've also then taken our episodes and we are releasing them on just regular podcast form for free. So they're out there as well. Pretty much anywhere you get a podcast, you can find now
Very
the
cool.
G Crew podcast. So, yeah, it's really neat doing that. Then I also then have, God, in like the next month, maybe, hopefully, I have a new documentary coming out that is called Intelligent Design.
Ooh.
And it is basically asking the question that, what if we could prove the existence of a creator? Now, whether you want to call that God or whatever, that's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
But what if we could prove, mathematically prove the existence of a creator? And I think I've done it. And quite literally just got done exporting the film today. It is done.
Wow.
So that is going to be coming out very soon.
Very cool. I'm gonna have to check
and I'm
that
sure-
one
Yeah,
out.
please keep us posted when we can
For
watch
sure.
that, because you just
Oh, absolutely.
piqued my interest on that one, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Well, the conversation's been awesome, Josh. Thank
Oh,
you
yeah.
so much for coming on. So, and we'll get
Yeah, thank you.
all of your information put on the video description so that whoever wants to can click links and
Oh yeah, for sure.
and see your stuff. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again.
And we'll see you in 3 years after the pandemic is over at Melbourne Manor.
That's true. That's true.
Yes. Yeah. God, I
That's
hope I'm
true.
wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong. How,
I hope you are too.
oh God, I don't want to go any longer, man.
Oh my God, I hate it. Oh, it's crazy.
Well, you be
It's
safe
crazy.
and be well, and hopefully nobody in your family or friends network gets COVID. Or if they do, they recover
Oh, well,
from
you
it.
guys be safe out there too. Yeah, we had a small little bout with it. Our oldest daughter got it.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I thought for sure that I was going to, and I thought for sure we were all gonna get it, but nobody else in our house caught it. But we did a pretty good job of keeping her tucked away.
Yeah,
hey, what's your
um,
blood type?
So
that's a little personal. For
I'm not sure, but I did. I'm not sure, but I did read an interesting article about that seems to suggest that certain blood types are affected in certain ways.
That's why I ask.
Which
Exactly.
is fascinating. Yeah. So I'm interested to see kind of how that develops
Mm-hmm.
over the next few months. I'm sure we'll
Yeah.
know more. But yeah,
I
quite
know
interesting.
it really, if you think about it from certain angles and certain perspectives, it really lends some light to some of the conspiracy theory going around. That's for sure.
Gee, universal
Yeah,
donor is
that's
less
true.
likely to be affected.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
And luckily that's me. Also.
Me too.
So
Me
I'm,
too.
Yeah. So I'm kind of sitting here like, well, am I going to get it? Am I not?
Right.
It's weird. Like I'm around, God, dozens of people.
Yeah.
In a day, a week, like all these people. And it makes me wonder, like, am I gonna, catch it eventually? And it does scare me. It's like I lost 3 friends in the same week. It was, it's kind of a terrifying thought. But then
Right.
at the same time, I'm like, Jesus, at this point, I almost want to just get it.
Yeah, just
Right.
get it out of the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
To see what it's all about. I don't know. It's
Right.
weird.
Well, you know, like speaking of being around other people, that's why like I'm personally convinced about the blood type thing. Like I'm convinced that depending on your blood type, your susceptibility and how bad it's going to be and stuff, right? Well, like Jeremiah and myself, like literally every shift this dude works, he is around COVID positive people, okay? Like
Yeah.
taken care of, right? Me, not every day, because I work, you know, Monday through Friday. Not every single day, but like I was around one today. I was around one on Friday. I was around one last Wednesday. So it's like, but we get tested twice a week, you know? And so I'm just like, man, like how many times is it going to take before I'm around one of them and then I actually catch it?
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's
so
not
weird.
an
It's
if,
like
it's a win.
It's like it's very, very strange. Obviously, the times that we live in right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just kind of try to go with the flow, no matter what's kind of thrown at me.
Right.
But like my mother, she just contracted this, the coronavirus just last week, and because of that, she also had my children with her, and so two of our three kids they're on their 2-week quarantine right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's, I mean, you know, our 2-year-old, he doesn't go anywhere anyway, so
Right.
it's not a
Right.
big deal. But it's like our 6-year-old now, she's, you know, having to do the virtual learning, which really she doesn't enjoy, obviously, just because she enjoys being around her friends
Right.
Right.
and playing and all of that fun stuff. So it's rough, you know, for her, but again, like, we just kind of roll with the punches. We try to make the best of it.
Yes. That's all we can do.
But
Yeah.
and and it's like, and she's not showing any signs of, you know, discomfort or anything like that. So I mean, I would think that everything's pretty much good to go on our end over here. So I think we're doing okay.
Oh, good deal.
Good.
Good deal. Awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Well, man, if your little 6-year-old is ever lonely, we've got a whole Norwood family compound of homeschooled students over here. You can just send her our way.
yeah. We.
Hell yes, absolutely.
I'm not joking. There's 6 of them that homeschool together.
Yep.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
There ain't no rest for the
That's good
wicked
stuff.
here.
No.
Dude, I understand. I hear you.
All right, man. Well, thank you
I
so
feel it.
much for coming on, Josh. This has been awesome. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I had a blast with you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll have to do this again and dig a little deeper next time. So.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very cool. All right, dude. You take care, stay safe, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye, Josh.
All right. You guys too. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was pretty awesome.
That conversation was so much fun. He was like so easy to talk to. He was super easy to talk to.
Really easy to talk
I felt
to.
like that was a really good, conversation.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Very cool. Very cool. Excuse me. Promise I don't have the Rona.
We were tested today. We do not
Yep.
have the Rona.
Yep. I have the negative test to
We've
prove
got
it.
the
so.
test to prove it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Carl said O positive and not as bad as some others.
Yeah.
Carl, I'm O positive as well.
What did we decide that I was?
You are A positive.
A positive.
You're A positive and I'm O positive. So our little Sophie is
Most
More
likely
than-
A.
more than likely A positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a slight chance that
Yeah.
she's O, but greater that she's
Yeah.
not. So, but that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay.
So,
Charles, he was a really, really great
yeah,
guest.
he was awesome to talk
Dude, he
to.
was just so easy to talk to.
Yeah.
I should have asked him what his sign is.
We
Maybe
can get
he's
into that next time.
Maybe he's an Aquarius or something.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that next time.
You're like, stop it on your astrology nonsense.
Nah,
It's not nonsense,
it's
people.
not nonsense.
It's not.
I don't. You know that. I don't believe it's nonsense.
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
That sounds like
Okay.
a really awesome documentary that he's got coming out.
that does. It does. I definitely want to
Intelligent
check that out.
design.
You know.
Charles said, I'm still just negative. We love the negative ones too. It's okay.
So, what do we got? We have Marie D.
Yeah.
Jones next week.
Yep.
So,
Author,
yep, author,
playwright,
screenwriter. She's kind of got her hands in a lot of different buckets, but she is a lot of fun to talk to. Very insightful, very inquisitive is really the word that I'm looking for. And she knows how to ask the right questions. In her books, most of the time, she doesn't really try to answer questions. She tries to get you to ask questions.
Oh, I love that.
And that's
a really amazing talent.
yeah,
to
you know,
have.
and it's just I've enjoyed every single one of her books that I've read. So it's I'm really looking for. I haven't talked to her in quite a while, so
It's going to
really-
be good.
Yeah, really looking forward to that.
And then I'm excited because I'll have a story to tell you guys next Monday. So this coming Thursday, I'm getting 2 readings with Lena. I'm getting a past life reading with our good friend Lena, and then I'm also getting a full circle tarot reading. So I'm pretty excited about that, guys. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We'll see what happens.
That'll definitely be awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up.
God damn it, I can't sit still.
This isn't news to me.
I know, but I just... It's really hard for me to. Sorry, that's nothing to do with Darkness Live.
So we have a lot of cool stuff coming up. Marie D. Jones on Darkness Live next Monday, and
If you need a really good laugh, go back and watch Darkness Tavern from Saturday
oh
night.
my God. So we had technical difficulties. The computer was in the middle of a huge ass update that, you know, most of the time updates on this thing only take about, 10 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And
It
update that
just-
night took like 3 hours total, which put
Yeah.
us like 2 hours late getting on. And so we tried to do part of it with our phone, and that was ridiculous. And so by the time we actually got live on the good setup, everyone was already drunk, and I mean, it was the shit was already flying. So
Skulls literally were flying.
right, yeah,
Literally.
that's something I've decided that we need to do for Darkness Tavern.
It's called Skull 5. Skull 5.
I'm gonna make a several foam skulls,
Yes.
so that it'd be like the foam bricks that people have to throw at their TVs during football games.
Is
Instead,
that actually a thing?
I've seen them for sale.
Wow.
So yeah, we're gonna make some foam skulls to have to
Launch
throw
at
it
Stephanie?
to throw at each other, not just at you.
And Max and Jake.
So, yeah.
Of course, Jake. Anyways, people, our next
So-
Darkness Tavern is December the 17th. It's that Saturday. I'm not sure if it's the 17th or 18th or 19th.
I think
but
it's the 19th.
that Saturday is the next one. That's so much fun.
Yeah. And we'll have Lena on for that. And on, the 11th, most likely, we will have a live investigation
Oh, yeah.
from here at our...
Undisclosed location.
Yes, our undisclosed location. It's our house, but we have all kinds of
Spoiler
crazy,
alert.
all kinds of crazy shit that goes on here, and we
Yes.
want to start to explore that, so it's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. It'll be kind of our pilot run into the live investigation thing, and on a at least on familiar ground or somewhat familiar ground. So yeah, we will.
Who's
Be
Taco Maniac 444. Hello.
so it's either the live investigation will be either the 11th or the 12th of December. We're still hammering down dates, because we got to arrange, for kids to not be here and stuff like that. And then So yeah, that's kind of the stuff that we've got coming up.
Yes.
Oh yes, and there's going to be a mix-off at the
Mix-
January
Oh yeah.
Darkness Tavern.
Yeah.
That is going to be a lot of fun. We've got 3 people, while we're sitting around drinking, talking about spooky shit. Stephanie, Jamie,
The wives,
and Stephanie
Mercedes.
and Mercedes. Yeah. Stephanie, Jamie, and Mercedes will
We're the
be
wives.
they'll be challenging each other off to a
Taco Maniac, you can sure give us a dare. Go
mix
for it.
off that
I don't know how to make drinks.
and
And that's the point, because they want us all to make drinks separately. And Have fun
we'll
with
see. We'll see that. So anyway, we've got some kind of contest or competition going on there. We're not exactly sure what it is, but it's going to be fun.
we'll say, what? I dare you
So-
guys to slow dance together.
We do that all the time, man. So, let's see here. What else? I think that's about it. I think it's time to cut and run for the night. Thank you guys for bearing with us and
Yeah.
enjoying the conversation with us. You guys have a good night. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And join
We'll
us
see you
back here
next
next week
Monday.
as we continue to shake hands with the shadows. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye. Have a good night. Be safe.